Hello everyone, I am Prajakta and I will be helping you with the functions of depository participants DMAT. Now DMAT, the full form of DMAT is dematerialization and the name is self-explanatory, which is converting from physical to electronic. Now the process of DMAT has been defined by SEBI guidelines. So it is the same for both depositories. Now DMAT means converting from physical to electronic. So obviously what would DMAT mean? Converting from electronic back to physical. How do you convert something from physical to electronic? Now how do you keep a track of it? Now if you want to identify some securities or scripts in electronic form, it is done by ISIN. ISIN stands for International Security Identification Number. Now this is a 12-digit unique alphanumeric number. You can see it here. Now the first 2 digit IN stands for the country code. So IN means India. Then the next 9 digits are divided as first would be E. If you see E, that obviously means it's equity, which is different for different securities. For example, if it's mutual fund, it would be F instead of E. And then there is a 4 digit of serial number, that is the company serial number. Then comes 01, 01 stands for, that is again equity, and the next 01 stands for the issue number. So the next issue would be 02 and so on. And the last digit is a check digit. Now we move on to dematerialization. What is the process of DMAT? Consider you are an investor who has a physical certificate. So what do you do with that certificate? If you want to DMAT it and put it in your DMAT account, you take that certificate and go to your DP. DP is the depository participant. Now once you go to a DP, the depository participant will give you a form, that is DRF. DRF stands for DMAT request form. So once you get the DMAT request form, you are supposed to fill it up and give the certificate along with the completely filled DRF back to the DP. Now DP will check if it's proper. Okay. So if there is some discrepancy or you have not filled it correctly, then he will give it back to you, or else he will send it to the RTA. Now how do you find out if you have filled it correctly? The next slide shows a physical certificate, right? So the first thing you have to check is if you have defaced it and put a mutilation. Defacing is just putting a stamp that says surrendered for dematerialization, and mutilation is adding 2 dots on top of the certificates. You have to make sure that the name of the person on the certificate and on the DMAT account is exactly the same. Also the details like the security type, paid up value, pari passu status, total number of certificate, quantities, and lock-in status has been mentioned correctly on the DRF. Again, once you check all these details, you have to make sure that separate DRFs are filled for lock-in as well as free securities. In lock-in securities, if there are different reasons for which the shares are in lock-in, then you have to put different DRF. In addition to that, if the securities have different paid up value and every client will have different certificate, right? Also every ISIN will have a different DRF. Again, you have to make sure that signatures of all the holders on the certificate and on the DMAT account have been put on the DRF. You have to check the certificate signature twice, because sometimes if the certificate is old, then the signature may vary. So you have to put the signature of both the old as well as it is on the DMAT account. This is the flow for the DMAT option. Now what will DP do? Once any request is registered with the DP, they will enter it on the system. There you have a maker-checker concept. Then the certificate, which is a defaced and mutilated certificate, that along with the DRF will go to the RTA. Now once you have entered all the details on the CDSL system, you will get a DRN. DRN stands for DMAT request number. Once you get this number, you can send it to the issuer RTA. Now 2 things may happen. The issuer RTA may accept or may reject it. So, issuer RTA has 15 days to either confirm or reject the request. Now, what happens is once the request has been confirmed, issuer and RTA will check with the DP. They will also receive a physical certificate. Once the issuer or RTA receives the physical as well as electronic entry, the issuer or RTA will destroy the physical certificate and credit the equivalent amount of securities in the demat account. Now, the BO can know this via the monthly transaction statement. Let us come to another situation, transposition cum demat. Imagine you have lots of certificates and the order in which the name appears varies from that of the demat account. What do you do then? You can do it by the way of transposition cum demat. Transposition is nothing but change in order of names. Now, depositories have amended their bylaws. Now, according to that, what you can do is, in addition to filling the DRF, you can fill the transposition form as well. That will change the order, say from ABC to BAC or anything else. For example, now on the certificates, the order is CAB, BCA, CAB, BAC. In demat, if the account is in the name of A, B and C, via transposition, you can shift all these 4 certificates directly into the account of A, B and C, where A is the first holder, B is the second holder and C is the third holder. So, if you want to do that, you will need the DRF, share certificate and transposition form. Again, there is another concept called as transmission. What happens in case of transmission is if there is a death in say 1 or more joint account holders, you need to open a demat account for the surviving holders and you can demat this to that particular demat account. Now, for the share certificate to be dematted, you will need DRF, the share certificate, transmission form. In addition to that, you need proof of the deceased person. So, you will need original or copy of death certificate duly notarized or attested by a gazetted officer. Now, imagine a scenario where you have to demat shares and both the cases of transmission as well as transposition is present. In that case, can someone tell me what are the documents that are required? Yes?
First, I think transmission form is required.
Correct.
And then death certificate, notarized death certificate, and DRE, demat request.
Exactly, demat request form, DRE.
Yeah, DRE is required, and physical share certificate.
Exactly, that is the most important one.
And transposition form.
Perfect. So, these are the 5 things that are required, right. Now, we have understood demat. Now, let us move on to remat. The remat process is exactly the same as the demat process, just the other way around, right. Now, what will DP do once they have received a remat request? The DP will enter the remat request details on the CDSL system, right. Now, the remat request form is received by the client, and when you enter all the details, RRN is created. What is RRN? RRN is nothing but remat request number. So, when you get the details, DP authorizes and verifies if the RRF is proper, and after creating RRN, they send the physical copies to the issuer or RTA within 7 days. After that, the issuer or RTA will verify the RRF and match the details that have occurred on the RRN. Once this happens, the BO directly receives the certificates within 30 days and the DP informs client via the statements. Now, in case the RRF is not in order, an objection memo is sent to the DP. The DP is supposed to receive another RRF and send it to the issuer. With this, we have finished chapter 6. Anybody has any questions?
Yeah. There are two questions. First one is who can make this request for demat of securities?
The security holder can make the request for demat of his securities.
Okay. And another one is who is allotting this ISINs?
ISIN is allotted by the depositories.
Okay. Thank you.